Hello friends, welcome back. I am Professor Pranav Singh Patil and you are studying agricultural heritage. If you remember, in last class we discussed about Indus Valley civilization. Yes, it was the first civilization that was found that was supposed to exist in India, which is also known as Harappa civilization. And then we discussed about Vedic civilization. Both these civilizations existed in ancient India and they played one of the important role in say progress of the society or progress of agriculture. Simultaneously, similarly, we are going to discuss some progress that happened in ancient age during various periods. These periods are like Indus Valley period, which already we have discussed, but again we will revise little bit. Then Vedic period, Buddhist period, Mauryan period, Gupta period and Sangam periods. So, what was the status of farmers in this society? How the farming developed in this period? We are living in a modern era, we are living in 2020, but how the progress of farming happened in that period? What the knowledge these people had in that period? And how they progressed was given to the farmers and what was the kind of governments they were having. So, these are the things that we want to learn today. So, let us discuss status in various periods. Remember, status not only means the position of the farmers, but what kind of agricultural development took place in these periods. So, it is a we are going back again in the history to see what kind of development. Let us begin. So, status of farmers in the society during Indus, Vedic, Buddhist, Mauryan and Gupta and Sangam period. So, Indus Valley civilization, Harappa civilization, already we have discussed what was the status of farmer. So, this civilization was found somewhere in the North India or today's Pakistan we can say, and Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Lothal, these were the cities that were found, and after digging out the archaeologists found that these people were very much progressed. They had city and we can say they were growing number of crops. Cotton industry was predominant. It means cotton was grown at large scale. Then these people were growing wheat, barley and some so basic knowledge we already have discussed. So, let us once again go through that. Harappa civilization, which existed between 3300 BC to 1900 BC. So, this is also known as Indus Valley civilization or Harappa civilization. During this period, what was the status of farmer? Actually, farming was the only business at that time. There were no other industries developed. Most of the revenue, even up to independence of India, most of the revenue to the government came from agriculture only. That is it is the only after independence that we have started different other kind of sources of revenue like IT, real estate and say software and all, but it was not there predominantly at that time. Agriculture was the only source of revenue. So, farmer had lot of importance in the society. Farming business was the one of the we can say major business at that time also. So, Harappa period, the status of farmer, this is the first farming cultures in South Asia. This is considered as the first farming cultures in South Asia. See, Asia is very we can say having a diversity of crops. India, China, both of these are the centers of origin of the different crops. So, hundreds of crops, thousands of crops are found. So, this is one of the major farming cultures in South Asia. We know that the discovery of agriculture happened in Northeast Asia or we can say Israel, Jordan, in that area. So, agriculture was in the beginning was very predominant in this area. So, it is considered as the first farming cultures which were documented. So, farmer's position was next to king. Actually, the king, we cannot say exactly king, but the whoever was the leader of the community at that time, in Harappa civilization. Most of the kings and all we know after the Maurya Empire or the Gupta Empire or Mughal Empire. At that time we used to use the word kings, but in Harappa civilization we can say at that time hardly any dynasty was there. So we can say the leaders, group leaders or the community leader, whoever was protecting that community, he was the first position, prime importance, and then the farmers were given the second importance, and then other peoples who are serving to the king. The farmers took part in the Neolithic revolution. So at that time we know that the Neolithic revolution happened in after 7500 BC. So whatever the knowledge that that was there was utilized by these farmers to grow wheat, barley and sesame and cotton, and farmers took part in Neolithic revolution. Agriculture development started. So what kind of crops, major crops in Harappa period was cotton, wheat, sesame and dates. So cotton, not only people grew cotton, but also they had methods for ginning, weaving and spinning of cotton. It means that the cotton industry was predominant. Wheat was the major crop in we can say still in North India wheat is the major crop, and sesame and dates were grown. Along with the crop production, farmers were also practicing animal husbandry, and we can say to generate additional income as well as to get the food from the animals. So they were rearing cattle to obtain the milk, and even the goat to obtain the milk as well as the meat. Farmers had knowledge about importance of water or irrigation. So they dug out the canals from rivers and they brought the water to the crop fields so that they can irrigate, and so that more production can be obtained from the crops. Then status of farmers during Vedic period. So Vedic period we discussed in last class also. These were the Aryans which came from the Hindu Kush mountains, and they lived in North India near 7. So and they cultivated crops as well as they had plenty of knowledge about agriculture. So during the Vedic period we can say they divided actually the if you remember, they divided the society into 4 groups, varnas, what we call Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, or in other words Brahmanas are also known as Vaishnavas. These were the superior people at that time. Next were the Kshatriyas who were fighting for the kings, and Sutriyas, or we can say Vaishnavas and Shudras. So farmer came in the lower group. So we can say during the Vedic period the status of farmer decreased as compared to Harappa period. So in Harappa period, after king the farmers were having the more importance, but in Vedic period after king the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas are having more importance, then Kshatriyas are having more importance, and the least was the Sutriyas or farmers. So farmers' importance decreased in the Vedic period and improved in later Atharva Vedic period. So there were different Vedic periods, Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda, okay, Sam Veda. So likewise different periods were there, and it is noted that in Atharva Vedic period its status improved. However, what crop production was done by these farmers with advice of saints. So these Vaishnavas were giving advice to the farmers about how the agriculture should be done. Of course, if you remember what was the major crop, barley was considered very good for men, and they were growing barley as well as they were performing animal husbandry. Pastoralism was main business of these people. So we can say rearing cows and buffaloes was the important business. Mixed farming we can say, and they used to say that we should obtain only milk from the cow. They had knowledge of soil fertility, they had knowledge of crop rotation and seed treatment. What we follow today, again it was mentioned in the Vedic period also, Vedic literature also, that we should not continuously grow same crop, and we should manure our field so that we should add organic manures if you want to increase the productivity. We should follow crop rotation, we should follow seed treatment. Then they also developed tools and implements like indigenous plow and sickle for cutting the crops. Okay. Then came the Buddhist period. Now, Buddhist period existed between 600 AD, okay, 600 BC to 800 AD. So, Buddhism was one of the major, we can say, this period during the history of humankind when it was popular 600 BC to 800 AD. So, Buddhist period. So, who started Buddhist period? Actually, the Siddhartha Gautama was the person who is considered as Gautam Buddha also, and his origin was in north, we can say in northeast India, on the border of northeast India, Nepal, and Lumpini was his birthplace, and Lumbini, and he spent some of his life during in northeast India, and again he spread his message all over the world from there. So, we all know that he spread peace among the society. He believed in peace. But during this period, when there were many rulers also came, so he was not ruling the society, but different kings were there who were also impressed with this Buddhism philosophy, and during that period of different rulers or dynasty, what kind of development happened. So, this is a long period of 600 BC to 800 AD, almost 1400 years we will discuss. So, it was a major food producing economy. Agriculture was the main business again at that time also. There was a pleasant proprietorship. It means the farmers, there were no fights and people were very happy with their living, and landowners, the king and farmers were working together so that they can live properly and produce more food and enjoy the life. So, they had a village councils at that time, and we can say the landowner could not sell his land to outsiders or anybody else without permission of the village councils. So, small governments were existed at that time, village councils were there who were controlling the selling of the land. The people practiced group farming. So, people work together, okay. And for example, if some farmer is sowing the crop, so all the neighboring farmers came and help him, and every farmer was helping any other farmer for sowing operation or for harvesting operation or spraying operation. They took the task together and performed we can say group tasks or group farming. Women also contributed to help the farmers and to do whatever possible. So, women contributed in field work, we can say. Then during this period of the Buddhism, we can divide this period into Mauryan period also. Mauryan period was part of Buddhist period. It been between 322 to 232 BC. Mauryan Empire existed in India. So, started by Chandragupta Maurya, and he was the first king, we can say. And you can see them in the picture, the Mauryan Empire. They ruled almost throughout the India, almost maximum India. So, this is the first major ruler all over India. There were many small rulers came in between, but we are not studying all of them. We will study few of them, and that is the major one is Mauryan Empire. So, Mauryan Empire was also very popular because of the not only because of the king, but also because of Chanakya and his knowledge. So, this Chanakya wrote book on the Arthashastra, a treatise on administration, how the king should rule the country and how the farmers should produce the crops, how the soldiers should behave. So he wrote a book which is very popular at that time, and he was considered very intelligent person, Chanakya. Still today also people refer his literature, and on YouTube number of videos are there calling it a Chanakya Niti. It means that he was a very intelligent scientist at that time. We can refer him as the scientist who provided knowledge to the farmers about how the cropping should be done. Also other authors like Megasthenes, who wrote Indica, giving knowledge about this area. So he also they guided the king about how the ruling should be done, and that's why it lasted for a long time, because they produced a lot of food and stored it. So Patliputra was the we can say Patliputra was the capital of the Mauryan Empire. Then let us discuss economy. Was agrarian, means agriculture was the main business, and government supported farmers. They encouraged the farmers to produce different crops. They constructed canals so that the farmers should get a irrigation facility. The Sudarshan project dam was one of such first dam produced by a king, and in the Gujarat province. So it helped the farmers in that region. Land ownership was reserved to king. So this is a difference between earlier periods. Here now any person cannot sell his land to any other person. Land ownership was reserved to king. People were only working for the king, and they were keeping some produce and giving some taxes to the government. Farmer was considered as the second important person in the society after the king. So farmer's position was good. After Vedic period, farmer gained his position in the Mauryan period. So the large farmers were known as the Grahapati at that time. So farmers were exempted from fighting in their wars. So farmers were exempted. They were not included for fighting, but they had to pay tax. So 25% of tax should be given by the farmers to the government. That was the rule. And the farmers also practice animal husbandry by rearing number of cattle, buffaloes and sheep and goat and different kind of animals. These people had the knowledge of soil and meteorological observation. They also made classification of the weather, classification of soils in their language. And use of horse-drawn chariots for transport started. Invention of wheel happened. Horses were used for transport. So faster transport started, we can say. And irrigation was given. Irrigation was knowledge about irrigation was already there, and so they started giving irrigation by flooding method as well as irrigation furrow method was using irrigation efficiently. They grew crops like rice, sugarcane and cotton. So sugarcane was one of the major crops also. Then came the Gupta Empire between 320 to 550 AD. So Patliputra was again the capital of the Gupta Empire, and for many periods this Patliputra was very popular in ancient history. And so Gupta Empire, they ruled for around 250 years, and they also made significant contributions. Interesting thing about this period is the king believed more in creativity and architecture, and he gave more importance to artists like painters and sculptors. And because food production was already there, now he wanted to decorate his land and his empire. So beautiful sculptures were built in this era. So considered as golden age of India, where everything was going great along with agriculture. People also forayed into different other kind of businesses like artisans and painters, and we can say number of other businesses. Especially from the point of contribution to mathematics, this period was known because this was the period of the great inventor of zero, Aryabhatta, and he invented zero. That is the contribution to the mathematics, as well as decimal point system we gave to the world. So artists when creativity was the main importance. You can see in this picture also beautiful temples were built at that time. So these king constructed number of irrigation infrastructure, dams and canals for improvement of agriculture. Because of the availability of water in Ganga, Brahmaputra, Narmada and Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri at that time, this empire flourished beautifully. And even they progressed in textile industry as well as started exporting the clothes. So we can say golden age of India. And the farmers were known as the Krishihalas or Kinrats. And but however, because of the invention of other businesses and all, farmers' importance decreased as compared to Mauryan period, and their status decreased. During this period, people had knowledge about number of crops like rice, wheat, barley, pea, lentil, etc. Even the spices were grown in southern part of the empire. Land ownership and sharecropping system was practiced. So, for example, the tenant means farmer farming a land owned by non-tilling landlord must give 30 to 55% of his produce to the king. So, if a farmer is a tenant farming land owned by non-tilling landlord, he has to give 35 or 33 to 55% of his produce to the king as taxes. So, land ownership was again not completely given to farmers. The king were having some right, some tax system. Then status of farmer during Sangam period between 300 BC to 300 AD. So, this is again a long period around 600 years. So, this was the period existed in South India mostly, and we can say different empires like Chola, Pandya, Chira, you can see in the picture where existed at that time. And Sangam, word Sangam is combination of all these authors actually. Word Sangam means of scholars or association of Tamil poets. So, there were these Tamil poets, philosophers who wrote books and who guided the kings about the administration as well as agriculture. So, first such books or philosophy was Tolkappiyam. The middle period was considered as Pandyas and third period was considered as Thirukural period. So, these were the literatures which guided the society in progress. So, economy was mainly again agriculture based economy was there. Mainly the revenue was coming from the agriculture only. Farmer status was high. So, in Sangam period in South India, farmers were given very high status. So, it has as compared to Gupta empire, we can say farmer status was very high in Sangam period in South India. Farmers were having lot of importance in the society. They adopted irrigated rice. Even today we know that southern states are producing rice. So, since that Sangam period, people are cultivating rice and irrigated rice, lowland rice. Natural forests were available for cultivation of bamboo, jackfruit. So, these people were also producing and utilizing the forest products like bamboo and jackfruit. So, in this philosophical literature which was very popular worldwide, considered as very authentic and ethical, in that literature it is written that they have praised the farmers that farmers alone live an independent life. Others should worship them and are second to them. So, farmers are providing food to all of us. Farmers are the reason why we are surviving. Farmers are the reason why the king has wealth and all. So, that is why the farmers are the most important component of society. Such literature had been already published by these poets. If farmers stop cultivation, even rishis cannot survive. So, we know that in Vedic period importance were given to rishis, but in the Sangam period it is noted that if farmers do not produce the food, even the rishis cannot survive. So, whatever we call the rishis as important people, they also have no importance in front of farmers if farmers stop producing the food. Then superior farmers, the large landholders were called as superior vellars in this Sangam period, where the small farmers or workers were called as the inferior vellars. Agriculture was a dignified profession at that time, and we can say a lot of importance was given. What is the status of farmers today? Actually, we can have both positive and negative view. The stressful farmers, in one of the books of S.R. Reddy, negative view is given, like every day 47 farmers are committing suicide. Many people are have quit farming since 1991 to 2011, and according to Government of India, 28% of farmers are live below poverty level. Situation is pathetic according to in debt, live in debt, and die in debt. Our feeders die for want of food. This is the situation mentioned in that. But I believe that this is a negative view of farming. Actually, many developments have taken place in modern agriculture or today's world, and farmers are much more progressed, much more, we can say, equipped with different kinds of tools and implements and knowledge, so that they can do agriculture in a better manner. There is no tax system to the farmers today. All of the farmers produces tax free. We have seen that in Gupta Empire and all, farmer has to pay minimum 25% of tax to maximum 35-50% of taxes produced. So today there is no tax on farmers. So this is a we can say development that has taken place. Even many facilities and technologies have been transferred to the farmers so that they can. So farmer is playing an important role in the country's development today. Farmer is self-sufficient, everything is available for the farming today. Even the government is giving subsidies in different kind of for fertilizers and use of implements and storage. Increasing food grain production, farmer has played an important role in increasing the food grain. Today India's food grain production has crossed 250 to 70 million tons, and we are self-sufficient in food grain. We are not importing from any other country except for few products. Most of our food grains are self-satisfied. But we need eco-friendly technology. Excess use of chemicals and we can say modern technology are also showing its bad effects. We had a green revolution, we produce a lot of food, but nowadays some bad effects, side effects we can say are being realized. Mechanization of agriculture is happening at a very fast rate. Most of the farmers are now using tractor drawn implements, and even for the sowing as well as harvesting, power tillers are available, threshers are available. So farmers' life drudgery, heavy work has reduced actually, but in other way cost is increasing because of use of these costly implements. However, because of low land holding, we can say there are problems. So this is the, we can say, status of farmers from the ancient India to today's India. So in number of different ways we learned, and now you know that in which period how the development took place. So for today we will stop here. Thank you so much.